Hi everyone, it's Lisa Moore here, your instructor for English 101 online. You may have noticed, but our first essay is upon us. We are writing a comparison-contrast essay this module, and it's coming up quick. So let's take a look at the prompt today. This essay builds upon your skills by asking you to persuade your reader that communication has either improved or worsened in the last 40 years. So we're going to ask you to take a side and analyze the shift in your essay. And you must employ a compare and contrast structure. So what I want to do today is just walk you through a few planning exercises for your paper. If you are in the planning stages, you could hit pause and follow my prompt. If you have already done this piece, just cruise on through. It won't take too long. And we will make sure that toward the end, I talk to you about two different ways that you can structure this paper. So let's take a look at the idea of your thesis statement. So to write your thesis statement, you need to answer this question. Has communication improved or worsened over the last 40 years? Remember, you must take a side. A thesis statement is one sentence in length. It's never a question. It also needs to be grammatically correct and just really easy for your reader to grasp. So just state that position in one complete sentence. You can pause the video here, or you could carry on if you've already written your thesis statement. The next thing that you would need to do is choose 3 broad types of communication that you can compare and contrast in your essay that support your stance. It's up to you if you'd like to add those 3 main points once you have them to your thesis statement, which we call a blueprint. You know, you could say communication has worsened in the last 40 years as evidenced through blah, blah, and blah. Or you don't have to. You could have just a really simple thesis statement that doesn't include the 3 points. You just want to make sure you know your 3 points and that your 3 points do appear in your topic sentences. So as you're pondering the 3 broad types of communication that you want to compare and contrast, here's what I'm talking about. How has face-to-face communication changed in the last 40 years? How has the telephone changed our communication in the last 40 years? I know one thing that a lot of students write about is the fact that today we rely so heavily on texting. How do you contrast that with what we did in the 80s? If we didn't even have texting, what did we have? And I do want to point out, remember that we really are only looking at communication in the last 40 years. I don't want you going back to the invention of the printing press or smoke signals, okay? I get those essays every semester. Okay, so again, if you've not already planned out what 3 broad areas of communication you want to analyze, go ahead and pause the video here and just jot those down. And you can have more than 3. You're not married to the idea until you start writing to the paper. If you're taking notes, if you're walking along with me, take a moment just to think about why this topic matters. This is the thing that makes our essays sing. We don't really want a paper that's just, we used to do this and now we do this. We used to do this and now we do this. There needs to be some greater importance to it. So why does communication matter? Why is it important to us as human beings? Why has the change between how we used to communicate and how we communicate today, impacted our culture? Okay, now that you've planned your essay out, let's go ahead and look at the structure. I will go ahead and make sure you have access to these slides and or these notes so you can follow along, but just know that you'll have access to this after I'm done. Okay. So there are 2 different ways that you can structure a comparison-contrast essay. Of course, every essay you write in this class is going to have an introductory paragraph and it's going to have a conclusion. This is the first essay of the semester. Rely on whatever skills you have in the department of intros and conclusions. Some of you may be just out of high school and you had an English teacher, beat you over the head with intro strategies. Some of you may have been out of school for a really long time. Use your understanding of the world and you will do just great. So, but every compare-contrast essay is going to have a body structure. So the first option is to have 2 body paragraphs. They're going to be 2 kind of long body paragraphs. In them, you're going to look at how things were in the past in the first body paragraph, and in the second body paragraph, Your main focus is how things are today, but you're going back and forth a little bit. And I'm going to see that contrast that you're striking through your use of transitional expressions. So first, write one body paragraph establishing how we communicated in the past. Give 3 points and supporting examples. So we did this, we did that, we did this other thing, examples for each. Second body paragraph, contrast those same 3 main points. So let's say in point A, you talked about how face-to-face communication was in the 1980s. That's the first main point in the second body paragraph too. How is face-to-face communication now that we are in the 2020s? So use those same 3 main points, but looking at it from a modern point of view. Emphasize whether things have improved or worsened. Let me see those transitional expressions. Whereas in 1980 we did this, today we do this. Here's option number 2. It's a 3-body paragraph structure. You may think that that means more work because it's more paragraphs, but it's all the same information, just in a different order. So in this one, you'd have 3 body paragraphs, and instead of focusing on then and now, your focus is going to be on the type of communication. So you'd write your first body paragraph exploring the first main point. For example, how is written communication changed? So you'd start by establishing how it was in the 80s, and then you would say, but here's how it is in the 2020s. So it'd be, for example, one whole paragraph about face-to-face communication then and now. And then you would repeat with your 2 other main points. Same information, just a little different organization. Let's look at some examples of a compare-contrast structure. This is on a different topic, of course, but I think you'll get the hang of it when you see this. All right. So I have lived my whole life in Phoenix, Arizona, and sometimes I just want to escape to somewhere nice in the summer. So let's do a compare-contrast between Phoenix in the summer and maybe Colorado Springs in the summer. So you'll notice that for this contrast piece, I did a little bit of research. So both cities experience their highest temperatures in the summer, but Arizona can reach 120, and Colorado Springs' average high temperature is 84. Both take part in outdoor activities in the summer. Arizona is about hiking in the early mornings and lots of swimming time. In Colorado Springs, residents enjoy all manner of outdoor activities like hiking all day long. Tourism. Arizona actually receives fewer tourism dollars during the summer. Resorts even discount their rates for, staycations. Colorado Springs actually brings in a ton of money for tourism during the summers. And if I were writing this paper, I'd probably go ahead and look for that statistic, dig a little deeper in my research. Let's look at 2 different ways to organize that structure. So in the 2-body paragraph 1, I would start just talking about Phoenix, our temperatures, our outdoor activities, our tourism. And then I would move into Colorado Springs. Unlike Phoenix, Colorado Springs temperatures, in contrast with Phoenix, Colorado Springs residents enjoy many outdoor activities, whereas Phoenix brings in fewer tourism dollars. In Colorado Springs, ... You notice that the use of transitions to draw that comparison. So this was about each topic rather than the subpoints. Over here, if I organized by subpoints, I'd have a paragraph about temperatures, Phoenix, Colorado, outdoor activities for number 2. Sorry about that. Phoenix, Colorado, and tourism, Phoenix, Colorado. So same information, same research, just a little bit of a different organization. So as always, just to go back and give a quick review for this, the intro is always going to try and have some sort of an engaging opening, right? Then you would introduce your topic, and then close that intro with a thesis statement. That thesis statement we looked at the beginning of this presentation falls at the very end of the intro. Then you're going to have your body paragraphs. Choose either option A or option B. Conclusion. Wrap it up by reiterating that thesis statement. That's a really easy trick to get you into the conclusion, is to restate your thesis in new words, maybe simplified in the first line of the conclusion. Sum up your arguments, and if possible, try to think about a thought-provoking last line, something that's going to stick with your reader. That's where, if you understand the importance of your topic, why does it matter that communication has changed in the last 40 years? That's maybe something you would talk about in those final sentences of your conclusion. Of course, I'm also going to ask you for a works cited page in this paper. So if you went out and you found some statistics about how we communicated in the 80s, if you weren't around like I was then bring that in. Or maybe a statistic about the year that the first cell phone was invented, or when they were prevalent, or how many people in America have cell phones today. Let me see a statistic on that on your works cited page. I don't have a slide that states this, but if you are looking for a little additional help with MLA formatting and works cited pages, go to Excelsior College OWL, Excelsior College OWL, OWL, meaning Online Writing Lab. You could also send me a message and I could help you. You could send me what you've gotten. We could talk about how it looks. So all that's left for you now is just to choose which structure you want to use. This is kind of a little bit of an outline. If you want to take a little screenshot there, I can move my face off. And I'm back. So before you start writing, that's what I would do. I'd make sure you have your thesis statement, that you know what your main points will be, jot a quick outline using one of these structures, and then you are ready to go. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me, or if you're watching this video in another class, your instructor. This is what we do, and we love to be helpful and keep all of you feeling successful in class. So you could visit student support hours. You could also message your instructor through Canvas for some help. All right, everyone, thanks for watching, and I will see you in Canvas.